All right, there we go. Charity, it says your audio is still connecting. Give other people some time to get in because we are just a little bit early. But since you are here, Jeanette, have any questions while we're waiting for other people to get in here?
No, not right now. But thank
Okay.
you for telling me to choose the lifetime
Oh,
account for Apex.
yeah. Yeah, that gets a lot of people.
Yeah,
I
I
don't
can
even,
see.
I honestly don't understand why they have that option. It's like, do you want to pay 85 a month or just one time of 100? Like, why even ask?
Exactly.
It's like that's a goofy question. Like who would pick monthly at 85 bucks?
Just pay the 100 right now and just get it over with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I made that mistake when I got my first account.
Hmm.
I was like, okay, they were both the same price. It was 85 for a month or 85 for the lifetime. I didn't pay attention to what I clicked on, and when it charged me that second month, I purposely blew the account.
Mm.
I was like, yeah, I'm not paying 80 a month.
Yeah.
Yes, I purposely blew that account just to get it out of the way.
So now, excuse me, I'm working on the second eval.
Nice. Yeah, because
Um,
they got it doing the 80% off, so might as well.
hmm
And they never got back to me why my code isn't working. Because he got back to me. He said on our end it shows everything is working, and I'm like, yeah, some people it works, but there's at least three or four people that told me they tried and it didn't work.
I wonder if they put a limit on how many coupons you can use for your accounts. That's probably what it is.
It shouldn't be. I mean, I just recently started getting people tell me that they were denied using my code, but I can see how many sales I get, so it's
Hmm.
still a high number. It's just some people are getting denied. So that's why when I went live, I put the original code, which is like an MDX5, some long number, some long letters. I put that one up there. Hopefully, the Mr. H trades is not working, but the original one still is.
Yeah,
Okay.
I wanted to bring that up as well. You helped me with the code thing, but I've never got the email at all. I've been trying to do the free trial thing. Uh,
For which one? For the bot?
mhm.
Oh, um,
The free
so
trial.
he never emailed you the link to get the trial?
No, I've been actually doing it multiple times to see if there was something on my end. I
All
never.
right. I'm in his Discord. I can send him a Discord message.
But that was it though. Just wanted to say
Because I don't think he expected that many people to jump on the bot. Because the guy that created it, he's actually been trading for like 20 plus years.
that.
And then he went over to the development side of things. So yeah, I could reach out to him real quick. And what email did you sign up with?
Charity Fairchild, first last name, 886 at gmail.com.
Is it 886?
Yes, sir.
Did you check your spam folder by any chance?
Yes, I did. I
Okay.
looked through it all so I can make sure I had it. Um, pull it up now.
That happened with me. I just reached out to him again and he provided me a link to download the trial version
Yeah.
because I think it was supposed to be like an automatic email that was sent after you submit your name and your email address in their mailing list. and I never received that email. I looked through my spam folder as well. So I just hit him up directly. I'm like, look, I never received that email. Can you send me the actual link of where to go to download it?
Yeah, and sometimes, and that's what I had to do with mine too. I had but he has a Discord. I'm about to put his Discord in here too. But yeah, I hit him up in an email. Was like, hey, I haven't received it yet. Let's see, invite people, and I'll put it in here. All right, I put it in the chat. That's his link to his Discord. So you have it. But I sent him a message, letting him know that, and I gave him your email that you didn't get it yet.
Thank you.
Yeah, he's a pretty cool guy though. A little bit older gentleman, of course, because he was trading back in the day when they were still on the trade floor. Um, but he's a real trader though, so he knows a lot. But on the website, and once you join this Discord, you'll see he'll put out like a free trial of certain indicators that he made. There's a bunch of cool things that help with the bot as well. Because once you build up a nice cushion in your account, there's guys in here that use his bot and make 2-3 thousand a day off of his bot. So the potential is there. Normally, when in the morning, with the settings, I'll show you the settings. I think they're still on here. There's like with the settings that I use, I have my profit at 500 and my loss at 800 because I have like 150 and 250K accounts. And with these settings, literally, I just click this the enable button, the red button, and it gets 500. As soon as it gets 500, it shuts off. I go to the next account, click the button one time, and I do that right when the market opens at 9:30. And then I'll do that with all. I'll click the button once per account, and it normally gets money in all of them. I think only once it might have lost 800 in one account, but they're 250K accounts, so I'm not really worried about an $800 loss in those. But for your smaller accounts, these are the M&Q settings that I used. I just have M&Q set for 60 bucks profit, $100 loss. So whichever one gets hit first, it cuts off. And those settings have been pretty consistent, pretty accurate with me. The only thing I change is long and short, or I might do both, depending on how the charts are moving when the market first opens up. Because like sometimes this week when the market opened up, it just went straight up. So of course I changed this to long, and then I clicked enable. But if it's bouncing up and down a little bit, I will put it on both so I can catch the runs either way.
Mm.
But once you get these settings down, and that's why I tell you to test the different settings and write down what you changed it to. Once you find that nice setting, just run with that setting until it don't work really. But it's been very consistent. And Jeanette, you say you got one account approved. Was that manual or was that some with bot as well?
Initially, it was the bot, but then I did the manual to get me over the hump.
Nice,
Yeah.
nice. And that's why it's good to learn while you earn. The bot
Hmm.
works, but it's always good to know how to do it as well. Because
Yep.
that's what I do. Once the bot get me within like 500-600 of getting approved, I'm like, I could trade that and get that done. But yeah, that's the bot that we're using now. And to me is a lot easier system to use. You wasn't around with the other bot that I was using, but it was so many different settings, and it was 1,000 a month. So and there was no free trial at all. It was just you pay for it, you use it.
Is this a new bot you're using?
Yeah. This one is a free trial, and it apparently it works on evaluation accounts, which I didn't know that when I was doing my free trial. I thought it was sim only, but but yeah, it works on evaluations as well, and it's free for 14 days. And I was like, man, in 14 days, if I knew that, I probably would have had a couple accounts approved in 14 days.
Hmm.
But that's my fault. I didn't even try. I was like simulation because he said it works on sim during the trial. So I didn't even try to go on my evals. But yeah, that's the bot. My friend that told me about this bot, he joined a group to get access to it, and they charged him 7,000 for the bot.
Sheesh.
Yeah, yeah.
It works though, right? It works. So
Yeah, it works. But that's how they bundled it together. They was like 7,000, you get access to our group and this bot.
mm,
But he was like, just reach out to the guy directly.
yeah.
So, but as I said, he's more so he just creates it. He's not really big on teaching everybody how to use it one on one. But he has a Discord where everybody, they share their settings, and he'll give you like the PDF download for it.
Right.
Yeah, but that's how that works. All right, and once again, the date that I downloaded was the 27th, which is this week, this past week. So. And I just wanted to go over the Fibonacci as one of the settings that I wanted to go over because like this was the 27th, and that's the day where it was a large high and low. Like the high and low it was a huge candle. And this is my daily chart right here, you can see the daily candle right here. The low is way down here where the high is way up here. Is probably not going to hit both of them in one day. So the way I trade when there's a big gap like that, I would do a 50% Fibonacci because 50% of the level is normally a good place to take a buy or a sell. All right. I have the time at 9:11 because you want to mark it before 9:29. And to do a Fibonacci, all you do is right click on the screen, go to drawing tools, and it's Fibonacci retracement or F8. All right. You click on Fibonacci retracement, and wherever the high is, you want to go on that line of the high, hold down the mouse and just drag it all the way down to the low that you marked off. And it gives, as you see, it gives different percentages, 100%, 76, 61, 50. I like to mark the 50%, and I will take a trade normally around that 50% mark. And of course, you could change it to whatever color you would like to change it to. I like cyan because it stands out. So when you go down to the 5-minute chart, you will see that blue line is the 50% of the overnight high and the overnight low. And if you look at it, once it crossed below that, it just played around that level and it could not break above it. And once the market opens at 9:30, a lot of times it does the same thing. It'll go back to it, play around that level. It might go down. If it does go above it, wait for the candle to close and then possibly look for a trade. It's not one of those trades that I depend 100% on. But if you notice, there's a swing high pretty much right at the same level that I marked the 50% on a 5-minute swing high. So it just gives a little more confirmation that is a good level or it's a decent level to get 50, 60 bucks off of.
Is there certain settings for your Fibonacci tool?
No, there's no certain settings. Literally all I did was mark the overnight high and I dragged it all the way down to the overnight low. And that's pretty much the high and the low of this daily candle.
Hey, I got a question on that Fibonacci. Are you going to do a video on that anytime soon?
Well, this video right here will be in the Discord. I already hit record. So it'll be a section in the Discord group that has all the recordings from our Saturday sessions. I just don't want to put these in the course because to me it's just way too much information. When you're a beginner, the course is beginner, and then you could come to the Discord if you want to learn a little bit more.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah, because for a beginner, this is kind of confusing.
Yeah, yeah. I
Yeah,
know.
so just a couple advanced settings. As I said, I want people to learn the basics first, and then when you hop into Discord, you can watch these videos on the side.
Hey,
But yeah,
Mr. H, I had a question.
Mhm.
Oh, so for MMQ, should I draw these settings, not settings, but these Fibonacci different on MMQ versus NQ, or should it be
Well,
the
yeah,
same?
yeah, because see, M and Q, even though it's the same, it's still Nasdaq. The settings, the numbers are slightly off. You know, what I'm saying? They're
I
just
thought
slightly
so.
off because not as many people are on M and Q, or it might be more people on M and Q. But they're
Okay,
not. They're not normally off by a lot. But you do want to have separate. You know, I have a separate chart for M and Q.
okay.
Like that's the chart that I'm opening up now. This is my M and Q chart. Um, it looks similar to the NQ, but as I said, the numbers might be like a point off. Yeah, so in the morning, I will set both of these separately.
Oh, also, I was trying to figure out how to get my screen to get rid of the separator days.
Oh yeah, yeah, I can pull that up now. So to get rid of separator days, you double click on the candlestick, and when you scroll down, it'll say, where's it at? Trading hour break line, and just turn it off.
Okay, cool.
And you do that on each one. Trust me, it took me a while to figure that out a few months back. I was like, how do I get rid of these big old lines? I don't like the lines all over my chart. I got enough
Exactly.
lines on there.
Exactly.
And then sometimes the lines are like right on the candlestick wicks. So yeah, it just throws it off.
Yep, confusing. Yep.
But yeah, that's where you go to. You just double click on any one of the candles and it says trading hour break line. Turn it off. But yeah, so I use the Fibonacci retracement when there's a large gap between the overnight high, overnight low. But you honestly, you could use it on any level, like with the gaps that I mark off. You can use the Fibonacci on the gaps as well. And if I use it on the gaps, I will put it on a 5 minute chart, and I will mark the Fibonacci on the 5 minute chart because it just makes it more accurate when you're looking at it.
That boy smart.
There it is right here. So Fibonacci F6, put it. Sometimes there's a line and sometimes there's not. It's weird, but I put it like right below the 50. Now, some people still use like the 61% and the 76. I mean, the market may look random, but it is a mathematical equation the way the market moves. It does move in a certain way. And our job as traders is to recognize the way it moves.
I have a question
Mhm.
about the Fibonacci on the daily candle. You said that you put that line by the 50%. Now, what would make that area a good area to take a trade?
What I normally do when it gets near that area, like right here, since it was a daily, this
Hmm.
is it's still a strong level, but it's even stronger after the market open because the daily is locked in. What I like to do, I like to see what the first candle that gets this area, I like to see what it does. So if it gets to this area, normally if it taps it like 2 or 3 times and it doesn't break above it, I'll take a short.
Okay.
I normally don't like I don't normally have a resting order all the time to where as soon as it touches the first time, it puts me in a trade. I like to see since the Fibonacci 50% is a strong level, it's not a level that I would just take a trade solely based on that level. It's just something that I would keep an eye on. So I like to see how the candlestick on a 5 minute move around that area. If it taps it like 2 or 3 times, but it doesn't shoot above it, I feel comfortable taking a short because once again, we're just trying to get 50 to 100.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Now, the bigger trades, that's when you want to have a little more cushion in your account. If there's more than one reason, so like if there's a 50% Fibonacci, you see there's a swing high, the little dotted blue lines are a swing high, and I might see a pivot in that same area. I'm like, okay, I got 3 reasons to take a trade. Then I might take a bigger trade or stay in the trade a little bit longer. A lot of it is education, and it is feeling. It's hard to say it's feeling, but the more you trade, you'll see how the candle moves around that area, and you're like, okay, it didn't just go straight through it like it didn't exist. So, and always pay attention to the news, because a lot of times, even though it's getting near your area, if you're within 2 minutes of the news, you might not want to take that trade. So there's a couple of things that you look for.
Jade. Jade.
Yep. Chauncey, what's going on, man? See you pop in here.
Yeah.
All right, so it's already playing. It's 9:20 right now here.
Get up now. Get up, Jade. Now. Jade.
What?
Now, mommy said. What time you think it is? Already 12 o'clock.
We got a hot mic.
Get dressed. Get ready.
Hey, leave it on.
Mommy.
Got a hot mic to let y'all know. All right, and as it is right now, is playing is only on one-time speed. And it's almost 9:30, so you can see how the market moves around 9:30 when it
You
opens.
sleep all you want on Saturday. You stay up late.
I'm gonna speed it up a little bit so we get to the 9:30. And and a lot of people didn't know, but the market you can trade the pre-market as well. I wouldn't trade the pre-market based off the overnight high and low, but you can trade the pre-market based off of older levels that haven't been touched yet. Because I don't know if Mrs. M is in the room, but she does a lot of trading pre-market. There's time where she'll do all her trading, and by the time the market open, she's done. So, and pre-market does move a little bit slower than the open. But once again, the market is open 23 hours a day. So
I got a question. When you say pre-market, like, so the market opens at what, 8, 9? What time?
9:30. The Nasdaq, the NQ opens at 9:30. But you can still trade before 9:30 because you still got England and Japan that's running.
Gotcha. Okay, I'm tracking. All right, bet. Cool.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, you could wake up 4 o'clock in the morning and take trades.
So you can set your trades for the United States, I guess. Whatever. Okay, gotcha. Bet.
Yeah, because Japan opens up around, I think, 8 o'clock at night, Eastern Standard Time, and then London opens up around 4 o'clock in the morning.
Okay, cool. All right, appreciate that.
Yeah, but the only time the market is closed is from 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time to 6 p.m. and it opens right back up at 6 p.m.
Gotcha. Tracking.
See, look, you see how the market opened and it's 9:30, it's shooting up. If you use the bot, I would change the bot to long.
Uh-huh.
I would change the bot to long, and I will click the button for it to trade because it's just shooting up. But a lot of times when the market open is moving back and forth, that's when I put it on both and just make money up and down.
Gotcha. Tracking. Okay, bet.
So, it's getting near that 50%, the initial 50% of the overnight high and low. And just let's see what it does around that area. And you can put it like a resting order. You can put a resting order near there. And there you go, target field.
Oh, can you really quick show us how to add the contracts?
Yeah, yep. And you see that quick trade, that short amount of trade, that's $100 off the 50%. That was a matter of seconds. But yeah, to add contracts right here where it says order quantity, you can just click that button up and add contracts.
Okay.
You can do it like that, or if you have an ATM strategy, you can actually have it set for the ATM strategy right here where it says order quantity.
Can you add contracts to an active order?
You can add to it. So if you're in a trade, you would just hit buy or sell again, and it will add onto it.
Oh, okay.
It'll add at a different spot. depending on where the market is. So if you take a trade and it's going in a good direction, you can hit sell again and it'll take it in. Like look how I moved off that 50%. I just got $100, but look how far it went down. But once again, when you're new to trading, we're just trying to be consistent. Everybody has a different consistency rate based on when they get in, how their entries are into a trade. So if my consistency rate is 200, that doesn't necessarily mean your consistency rate is 200. The way I find that out, of course, you want to journal your trades. Take good trades and see how many trades out of 10 trades, how many times did you make at least $50? If you made $50 9 out of 10 trades, okay, let's see how many times can you make $75 or $100 out of 10 trades. If you do that 8, 9 times, okay, now your consistency rate went up to $100. And until you move it up to 150 and okay, only made 5 out of 10 trades, only made 150, lower, pull back a little bit. And that's how you check out your consistency rate, because the more you practice, the higher your consistency rate is going to get. The more cushion you have, you're able to take a little more heat in a trade than you normally would. So if I trade and on my bigger accounts and it goes against me $800-900, I'm not concerned because I have a 250K account. But on my 25K account, I'm not risking $800. So you got to keep that in mind as well. If I take a trade and made $1,000, doesn't necessarily mean you could do the same thing, because I might have been able to take more heat and I could wait for the market to go down there and make that much money. The window isn't popping. Oh, no, what do you mean? I just seen that. The window isn't popping up to get rid of the day separator. You said the window isn't popping up?
Yeah, only on the daily time frame, having a problem getting it.
Yeah, normally I just double click on any one of the candles.
Yeah, I had to blow it up some.
Okay, you got it though, right?
Yeah, I got it.
Okay, cool.
Good evening, brother. I was in the bank when you spoke, man.
Oh,
So
what's up?
I
It's all
didn't
good.
want to be a disturbance, man. I guess I came in kind of late. You were speaking about the bot. So I mean, can I get a little bit more information
Yes.
about that?
Yeah, so yeah, the bot that I use now is called Grid Masters. The developer was actually a day trader. Like he still has his license and everything. And he just went over to the tech side, and now he don't have a course or anything like that. He just built a bot, and he builds indicators. The new bot, I've been using it for a little over a month now. Is really accurate. The settings, he gives you some settings to start with. But I played around with these settings to see which ones I like the best and which ones are more consistent for me. And I wrote down like the settings that I ran. So this is the normal settings that I do. When the market opens up at 9:30, like right now, like on this 9:30 candle, it just shot straight up. So I would change the trade side to long, and you just click enable. I just click enable, and that's how it trades. That right there. It looks crazy, but that's the way it trades. I don't know what it did because it's past the open. Oh well, look at that. Look what that just did. $4,000 that fast.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? So that's the settings that I use on there.
Okay, I got you. So
That fast, it made $4,000, and it's only on one speed, so it's not 2x or 3x.
Okay, I get you. So it's basically a grid bot.
Yeah, it's a grid bot. It's basically like a scalper.
Grid bot. Right.
And since the market was going up, I just had it on longs. So it took all the trades on long and made 4,000 in a matter of seconds.
Now, are you setting how many contracts it takes, or
Yeah. Trade size is 1. Max entries was 8, and that's 8 if you put both, it's 8 on both sides. Tick level is 12. Ticks to skip, that means how much ticks it skips before it gets into another trade. And then when you download it, he gives you he should send you a file, or you just ask for a file. It's a PDF, or I can send it to you. That way you can read up about the bot a little bit more. But it
Okay,
works really
yeah.
fast. It gets in and out. You can set the settings however you want. And I only click the button once per account. So account number one, I'll click it once, whatever it gives me, cool. Then I go to account number two, click it once. And I'll do that within the initial 5-minute candle. When the market opens, I'll just go down the line, click, click, click. And it is whatever it gets me, I'm cool with it. And then I manually trade after that.
Is this friendly with copy trader? One trader on this?
I haven't used it with a copier only because it's a third-party app and the copier is a third-party app. And I don't trust using a third party and a third party together.
Yeah.
Not saying it won't work. I just, I don't want to take the risk of it freezing up on me.
Yeah.
But it works so fast. I mean, you could just click each account and hit enable after it's done. And
Okay,
it
yes,
works
please,
pretty quick.
please email me that information. So I mean, once it takes its trade, does it cuts itself off, or you need
Yep.
to go back and okay.
Yep, it'll cut itself off and you click the button again. And the bot is normally 5,000, but with my discount code, he allowed me to get 50% off.
Nice. So it's a one-time payment, and it's
One-time
yours.
payment. No more monthly like the other bot.
No, I got you.
I mean, don't get me wrong, the other bot was cool, but that monthly boy,
No, I feel you. I actually got my developers working on my strategy right now. We're getting it
nice.
developed into a bot. So I mean, I'll be touching bases with you on that a little bit later. Once
Oh,
once it's
nice.
all
Hey, well, you
everything.
got all of us to test it out.
I got you, brother. I got you.
Yeah, we be there right there testing it out for you, no problem. But yeah, automation, I mean, 70% of trades are automated. So you might as well get with automation now. Why is hot? You said that. All right. What was that? What was that? Did I miss something? All right. The other one was the gaps. All right. So the gap that is getting close to now was a small 1 hour gap. All right. It happened in the market. This small little gap right here. This is a 1 hour chart. And I marked it because once again, it's still a gap. You got A, B, and C. A and C did not touch. And I normally mark gaps that are a couple points. It may look small, but on an hour chart, it looks small, but that's a pretty sizable gap. So on the 5-minute, if you did a resting order, you just go to resting order and hit sell limit, and it will be resting right there. So when the market hits to it, it'll automatically take the trade. And when I practice, I would do several resting orders just so I could see how it moved on each one. Like that's the 50% of that gap. So I want to see what it does when it first touches it. See if it gives me $50. If it goes past and make that, it gets me in this trade. I see if it make me $50. That's just the faster way of testing out your levels and see which ones work and if you mark them the right way. But when you're practicing, that's when you want to really try different things outside of the box, but you still want to trade similar to the way you would in a live market. If you really want to see what you'll do in a live market, you trade in practice like it's real. But if you're just testing out like ATM strategies, if you're just testing out certain levels, you can, add a couple contracts just to see what happens at those levels. And you see right here that 50% of the daily, when I say a closure, this is the 5-minute chart. Once it broke above that and you see how this candlestick closed, it came back down to the overnight high. I mean, not the overnight high, the 50% of the daily. You would have took a little bit of heat right here, but it ultimately went up and you would have made some money. The bigger the cushion in your account, you can take bigger trades because you're able to take more heat. So as a beginner, you might not be able to take a lot of heat, but as you focus and build that cushion, trading actually gets easier because you don't have to be such a sniper on all your entries. I want to see what it does when it moves up to the gap. All right, I sped it up a little bit so we get to the point. And I was also testing out it's an app that you can download onto Ninja Trader that will keep track of your trades. It's kind of like a automated journal that you can use. So instead of I'm old school, I like to write down my trades, but there's apps that you can use that will get that information for you. And the one is called Trades Viz. Someone told me that was a pretty good one, and it has a free trial. It has a free version of it, not a trial, but it's free to use. It's called Trades Viz, and it basically just journal your trades, and it records how you trade and how well you did, or how bad you did.
Hey, what's up, Williams?
Yeah,
If it's possible after the session, can we link up?
yeah. What's going on?
I did everything that I opened the ticket, like you said, and did everything, follow all the instruction, and it still does the same thing.
Okay. With that issue, we can look at it, of course, but it'd be hard to troubleshoot it on the weekend because the market is closed.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But we can still look at it and see why it's doing that, and check the data. Because I think Chris had that same issue. Oh, well, there we go. That happened fast, and it was only on one speed. Um, but yeah, there's a trade that happened again on the gap bounce. That was $50 within a matter of seconds. You know, as I said, I'm doing that just so you guys can see how the market works around. That was a gap, a 1 hour gap. The one that worked down here was the overnight high, overnight low, 50% of the Fibonacci, and that's how I test out all my levels. When I'm in sim, I mark up the chart and I just like to see what the market does around those levels. And it just builds my confidence to where when I'm in the live market, I know I've tested out that strategy hundreds of times in simulation. So I feel comfortable taking it in the live market because even though every day is different, it's still very calculated and they work really well. And then you could rewind this and you could, instead of doing a $50 ATM strategy, you could choose a $100 ATM strategy and see how often it move and get you $100. You know, and it just, as I said, it just builds confidence the more you practice because you see exactly how it moves around that level. And now I want to see what it does when it gets to the 50% Fibonacci. You hit the sell because that 50% is the 50% of this gap right here or the zone. And I leave another trade to see what it does when it hits that 50%. But it does bounce several times. As you see, it bounced several times off this level. So just like my 3 tap rule, it tapped it 3 times. You could have took a sell the third time and still would have made money. We're gonna see what it does at the 50%. All right. Anybody have any questions while we're here?
I do.
Yeah.
Um,
All right.
Mark, when you mark up your chart, when you mark up your chart in the mornings, you go to I watched one of the videos, you went to the 5 minute high and the low, a candlestick,
Mhm.
marked it, then you went back to the daily. And then for me, when I was following along, there was like I know you talked about gap, but there was like a big gap in between the first candle of the daily time frame. And I was
Mhm.
trying to figure out how to mark that. It was actually really weird The way the daily
Some
just
of this one
ended.
right here,
Let me see. Yeah, that one.
that little weird, yeah, that gap happened right there was over the weekend. The market closed right here over the weekend, and so much stuff happened over the weekend. By the time the market opened, it was at a different level. That doesn't happen often, but depends on what happens over the weekend. It just skipped.
Yeah.
The way I traded that was just like I have here. I marked it even though it's a gap. Let's go down to the 4 hour. I marked it as the 4 hour. So this is A. Let me move this up. This is candlestick A, candlestick B, candlestick C. A and C does not touch. They do not touch. So I marked it between these two right here. It's still a gap. It's just this one is just doesn't intersect in the middle of them. But it's still A, B, and C.
Okay.
So yeah, I still
Mr.
marked right here.
Hello. Can you hear me, Mr. A?
Yes. What's going on, Marvin?
Okay. My question is this here. So initially, when I got into the class, I didn't get a VPN. So now I want to get a VPN. And my question is this. So like, I might set my chart up if I can early in the morning, and then I have to carry my computer with me, but I have to shut it down and then go back in and open it up after I get to work again.
Yeah.
But with the VPN, am I able to do this here? So let's say I have two computers.
Yeah,
I set it up.
With a VPS, you could close your laptop, turn it off, whatever you want to do. The VPS is still running just fine. It doesn't shut off.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so that's why a lot of traders use a VPS, because if you're in the middle of a trade and you walk off and your computer shuts down or goes to sleep, a lot of times it will shut off your NinjaTrader too.
Right.
Yeah, but
So
with a VPS, yeah, you don't have to worry about that.
not a VPN, a VPS.
Yeah, VPS, yep.
Okay. All right.
And when you're ready to get a VPS, just let me know. We'll do a Zoom and I'll help you set it up, because you have to re-download everything on the VPS.
Yeah, it should be. That's where they put it at. Okay. Sorry about that.
Yeah, it's cool.
Trying to do.
Yeah, but yeah, you have to
Okay.
re-download everything. So we could do a
Okay.
Zoom when you're ready.
All right, that'll work. Thank you.
Mhm. Yeah, you just re-download everything and switch it all over, and it could be a headache. So
Yeah.
I've done it so many times. It's easy for us to just do a Zoom. All right. So and also with closures, when I say the closure of a candle, like right now, this candle has 52 seconds left on it. If I wanted to take a trade, since it already jumped around in here, I would wait to see what it does after it, like where does it close at? If this candlestick closed and is already through the gap, I'll wait for the closure and then I'll look to buy the market instead of selling it. So I like to see where this candle closes at. Since I already took the initial trade, made my money, and you see it bounced several times. You probably could have took this trade 3, 4, 5 times already. But since it's so close to the end, I'll wait to see where it closes at. If it closes outside the gap, I feel comfortable taking it again. But if it closes and is already in the gap, that's when I will wait for either the 50% or see what it does if it goes above it. So there's several reasons to take a trade.
Okay, so I'm seeing how you got the gap there. If it breaks out past the resistance part of the gap, would you put a buy order in after
If it broke above this up here? Yes.
Yeah.
If the market went above this and closed up here, I will wait for it to, it's called a retracement. I will wait for it to retrace. And I've times where I've taken a trade off the top of it when it retraces.
Okay. You wouldn't wait for it to come back down and hit it?
Yeah. After it closed above it, I will wait for it to come back down and see what it does. And if it bounces, if it taps it 3 times and don't go through it, I'll be willing to take a buy.
Okay.
And just like even with this trade, if you are a more patient trader, like you had a nice decent cushion. You could have took this trade and stayed in the trade. You didn't have to get out at 50 to $100. You could have stayed in the trade, and when the next candle opened, look how far down it went. So you could have still been in the trade from the first time and just let it play out. That's you will build that confidence as you trade. You know what I mean? I still struggle with it sometimes because there's plenty of times I get out of a trade. I'm like, cool, I made 400 or 500, but if I would have stayed in one more minute, I would have made 2,000. So it's okay if that happens to you. It's part of trading.
Hey, do you ever use a mitigation technique?
No, what is that?
Basically, like you saw how it hit like your zone to go down. So basically, if you knew it was going to be like a sell, you could basically have sold when it hit that point, and at maybe like half your position, and then like say hit 50%, you sold again, and then now it drops down.
Oh, I
So
mean, like
basically,
adding on to the position.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. No, I have done that. So like normally if it gets into a trade and it's going down, I would just
Mhm.
click sell again.
Okay,
And it'll
okay,
add on to my position where the market currently is and keep going down with it.
okay,
Yeah, so yeah, I just don't call it that, but yeah, I just add on to the position.
okay.
You know what I'm saying? So like say if this is I'm just testing it out now. Say I'm in a sell, right? I'm selling the market. If I want to add on to position, I can hit sell again and see how I added 2 contracts. You know what I'm saying? And if I wanted to get in place another trade, I just hit sell again, and now it added 3.
Is that at current price or limit order?
No, it added to wherever the current price is. It won't add it to my initial trade because this is the break even. You'll see the break even move if I hit sell again. See how the break even moved? So every time you add a contract, it's going to take a trade closer to where the market currently is.
Some people got their picture and their name up there. It's
Oh,
got
something is
me.
in your
It
way?
don't have my name up there. It's got my picture, the video,
Oh yeah, you have to slide to move it out the way.
but
I don't
mine
see
is
it.
over here.
But
But it
yeah,
got
so
the
but that's
end.
that's how I add on to my
Right.
contracts.
Yeah,
But
because you could have had also
Like it's got
like say
administrator. It don't have my
say you
name
would
up there.
have did it at your
Like these
fifty
people got
percent,
their name up. See, there's
and
mine.
then that would actually lessen your drawdown because you'll be at a higher level of taking it.
let's say that one more time.
Oh, so basically, like say this candle right now, say it breaks to 50%, and you still believe that it's gonna sell. If you hopped in at that time, a second position, that would actually lower your drawdown.
Yeah. You can do that as well. I
Yeah,
was just showing how you
yeah.
can add
Oh, okay.
as you're
Yeah,
in
yeah.
the trade. But yeah, I
Yeah,
would
yeah.
normally wait for it to come back to that level, and then I would click
Yep.
sell again.
Okay.
Yeah, I
Okay.
wouldn't
So
just click at
how
random
far would
time.
you so how far would you change like let's say, okay, you know what? There's no more sales now. I'm going to buys now. How far would you go in on that? That makes sense.
I will wait. I normally wait for a closure. Like when this candle closed, it didn't close in this area. So
Okay.
I would have felt comfortable taking another sell. But like
Okay.
if it closes inside this area, I
Yeah.
will wait. I wouldn't take another sell until it got to the 50% area.
Okay. Okay.
Or I will wait for it to go all the way through it and get a retrace to buy.
Okay. Yep. Okay.
So when I started focusing on the closure of a candle, I got more accurate with my trades.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, yeah. Yep.
Because a lot of people they'll take a short just because the candle is going down, they'll take a short. That's called scalping. That's not
Scalping.
really a strategy. That's like, why did you take the trade? Oh, well, the market was moving down. That's not a reason to take a trade. If you ask me why I took a trade, I'm like, oh, I have a 1 hour gap bounce. Or oh, I took
Hmm.
a trade off the 50% of my gap. That's a
Hmm.
reason to take a trade. But if your reason for taking a trade is, oh, well, the market was moving up, that's a scalp.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's not based, that's a gamble. You rolled the dice and you might have won, but I know if you guys been trading, I know you've taken a trade outside of your rules and you know it immediately. You're like, ooh, why did I take that trade? It might work, it might not, but you knew that you shouldn't have did that. And sometimes I have lessons that I have to learn too. So it's a constant, you have to constantly learn. Let me remove that because that was just a test. I was testing something out. And once again, that's the cool thing about practicing. You can always reset it, try again, fast forward, rewind, so you get used to seeing how the candlesticks move. I want to see what it did around this area. We got 9 seconds on this one, and see it closed. It still closed outside of that gap. See what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like it's still a very strong area.
Yeah, it
Strong
can't break.
area for shorts.
Yeah, still strong area for shorts because the market has not closed inside of here yet. It'll go in there, but it has not been able to close in there. And you see, you could have took a short and already made money. Look at that. Every time it touched there, you could have got 50, 50, 50 almost every time. But I like to see what it does. Like, is it going to close inside there or not? As long as it's not closing inside there, a lot of times I feel comfortable taking another trade. But if it closes inside, I'm like, all right, let me move my trade a little higher. But once it goes out of that zone, I'm no longer looking for a sell. If it go out that area or outside of that gap, I'm looking for it to retrace and continue up. Because like if you look here, this is all that gap. This gap is just saying the market was dropping so fast it literally skipped this whole area and we started off over here again. That's a lot of there's a lot of sellers in there. You know what I'm saying? It's basically saying in that zone, there's so many sellers in there, they're still pushing the market down in that area. Look, it could barely get to the 50%. It's almost like a thick liquid in that area. Let's see what it does around this area. There you go, another 50. You know, and this is 957. By 957, we done made 100 here, then made another 50 here, and another 50 here. You know, you had $200 and it's 958. You know, and if you have more than one account and a copier, you just made that 200 times however many accounts you have, and you only did 3 trades. You know, so you don't have to sit here and be scared to take a trade. That's the great thing about having a prop firm. It's not even our money, you know, and as I said, you get better as you trade. So if you have a couple bad trades, write down why they were bad trades. You know, write them down. Write down what you did. Write down what happened around that time. You know, I took a trade at the 50% Fibonacci and it knocked me out. Okay, well, where was your stop loss at? Oh, my stop loss was at 25 ticks. Okay, well, you might want to move your stop loss to maybe 30, 35, you know, and that's how I had to find where my stop loss at. My stop loss is normally around 40. Let's see, where is it on here? Yeah, it's 40. So my stop loss is normally around 40 ticks. Let's see another one. Yeah, 45 and 55. Like that's normally where my stop loss is set at. You know, and you see it bounced a couple times off that 50%. You could have made $50 a couple times. But when it comes to trading, you just don't be scared to click the button. You know, trust the education, take the trade. If it works 10 times out of 10, great. If it works 8 times out of 10, you're still good. You know, nothing is guaranteed, but you'll never know until you take a trade at the levels that you learned. You know,
Well, what did you say your
don't
stop
chase
loss
it either.
was?
Huh?
What did you say your stop loss was usually?
My stop loss is 40.
Is that with minis or
This is with minis.
with minis? Okay.
Now with micros, sometimes with micros, I will double it with micros because remember, micros are only 50 cents instead of $5. So the reason why I like trading micros is because I can sit in a trade in micros a lot longer than I could sit in a mini trade. So a micro trade, I could have took this trade and just sat back and chilled for 5-10 minutes just to see where it went. You know, but if I'm trading minis, I'm trying to get in and get out, get my money and go. But like even with this trade, if I would have just sat in a trade instead of just getting $50, if I would have just sat in a trade, look at it. When that next candlestick opened, look how far down it went. That's way more than $50. But once I said, as a beginner, you just want to get your money, build up that cushion. Then you could take these bigger trades and sit in them a little bit longer. But that's the reason why a lot of traders fail, because they're trying to make too much money too fast. You'll get there. There's no stress.
So, Mr. H, when attempting to pass a valuation, would you think it's a good idea to increase your contract, like how you just explained?
It depends. It depends. If you're trying to get approved a 25K account, I wouldn't add contracts on a 25K account because you only have a $1,500 window. And if you're doing 2 contracts, that's $10 a tick. You can lose $500-600 really fast because Nasdaq moves fast. But if you have a bigger account, like a 100K account, yeah, I would do 2, maybe 3 contracts. Even with a 50K account, you could trade micros and you can do more micros. So 10 micros is 1 mini. So if you want to make more money but not risk so much, you can do maybe 15 micros, because 15 micros is about $7.50 per tick instead of $5. So it's not as bad as doing 2 full contracts. So you're not risking $10, you're only risking $7.50 by doing 15 micros.
So even up under a 25,000?
Yeah, even on a 25,000 trade account, I would do 15 micros before I do 2 contracts of minis.
Okay.
Because with 15 micros, you can stagger them. And I'll show you what I mean by stagger when you do your ATM strategy. So like this is 8 contracts, right? This is what my 8 contract trade looks like. I have it in sets of 2.
Wheel's got a crazy bend in it.
What's that?
Right front wheel's got a big bend in it.
Hold on, I get back with you. Hold on, go ahead. So what you say?
Yeah, so like with this right here, I'm gonna take a sample trade. It's not really based on anything. Let me slow this down. So with my 8 contracts, it looks like this. So it's 8 contracts, right? But as the market moves into profit, they move in increments of
something got this wheel good, man. So it'll probably hold.
Yeah,
it's gonna be.
I got you.
Oh, okay. I wanted to see if it goes down and see what happens. But even though it says 8 contracts, all 8 won't move at the same time. They move in increments of 2. So the first 2 will move, then the second 2 will move, and it's staggered that way. That's how I trade. If it's in micros, I'll let it stagger my trade instead of just all 8 moving at the same time. All right, it should trigger soon. See how it moves? See that? So they move at 2 at a time. So as the market goes down into more profit, they slowly move 2 at a time instead of all 8 just moving at once. And that way I have a 2 contract runner still lingering back just in case the market goes down even farther. And you see it knocked out all my other trades. And if you don't want to wait in the trade no more, you can just click this button and move it down into profit.
Do you already have those 2 buy positions already ready for a limit order? Or
Yeah. I have an ATM strategy. I call it Big 8 because it's 8 contracts. But once it starts going into profit, I have them set to where they move at different times. And that's what you just seen. They just all move down at a different time. And I would normally use that on micros. So see how it's moving by itself? And then it stopped filled. But it moved and it locked in the profit as it was going down. And I just locked in $2,000. That's how I trade on my bigger accounts. So that's why when you see people make a bunch of money in the market, it's not that they took bigger or they waited in the trade longer. They just had more contracts. It's the same movement. It's just I have more contracts. So in that 5-minute candle, I made 2,000 because it was 8 contracts. You know, it's not that I'm a better trader. It's just I added more contracts to my level because I have bigger accounts, or I might have more cushion to where I can take $800, $900, $1,000 negative before it turns around and gets me money. But you could play with those with more contracts in micros, which is MNQ instead of NQ. So you could test those out because 8 contracts of MNQ is not as dangerous. You know what I mean? I think that's only like what's like $6 or something like that.
Are you able to show that
No, you know,
ATM
8 contracts is
strategy
only like
again?
$4. Was that?
Are you able to show that ATM strategy again?
Oh yeah, yeah. I actually put a picture of it as well if you want in the group. But yeah, this is the ATM strategy. I have a stop loss at 60. I don't have a target. I don't put a profit number there because as long as you leave profit blank, it won't stop you out. It'll just the market's going down, it'll just keep making money.
Oh,
I
okay.
have a trailing stop set. So I'll put a picture and break down a picture on each one. It's just in case you guys want to try that out in simulation. Don't do this on a live market until you get used to it. But yeah, I could put these pictures in the group. That way you can see, because each one of these stop strategies are set slightly different. That way they move at different times.
But you could also put it to take profit if you wanted to, right? You could set the
I
profit
have them
you're looking
moving.
for.
Yeah, they move. Yeah, you can set it to take. If you wanted to set it to take profit, you just type in a amount of ticks.
Like say if you wanted
Profit
10
be at.
profit and then the next one will be 15
Yeah,
before it takes the next profit and then the next one, so on and so on.
yeah. You can move this one if you want to have an actual set point. You can put this one on 15 ticks. You can put this one on 20, and so on, and it will just take you out at each one of those levels.
That way, if the market keeps moving down and it doesn't retrace back, you don't lose nothing.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, you could definitely do it that way. I don't put a profit there because when I use this setup, I use my trailing stop to lock in the profit instead of a actual target. That's why my candles, that's why each one was moving down at different times, because I have the stop strategy set at different levels when it goes down. So it's just a more advanced way of trading with an ATM strategy.
You saw that last target 4? I got the other ones. I didn't get the last.
Oh yeah.
Okay, there.
And that last one is my runner. That one that's the last one to move, just in case the market just goes on a nice run in one direction. That one lingering is still there chilling, and it moves at a slower speed. But you see, my profit trigger is 100 ticks. So once it goes 100 ticks down, then my runner starts moving.
Yeah, that's yeah. So you're able to trade 8 micros on 100K?
Yeah. You could trade 8 micros on a 25K.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah. As I said, micros are only 50 cents each.
Okay.
Instead of $5.
The minis are the $5, right? You said?
Yeah, the minis are $5.
Mr. Ray, okay, so on that gap trade, I
Mhm.
see where the 50% mark, and then on the red candle, it came down, broke below. Would you take a trade again on the gap for a sell position? Like the current candle, it's red. So if it comes back and hits it, would you take a trade there?
I wouldn't necessarily take. You're talking about right here at the bottom of it. Marvin, you mean right here at the bottom? Now, I personally would not take it if it got here again, only because back here it closed inside that gap.
Okay.
So even though it might work, more than likely the market is going down so it could get some steam to go through it.
Okay.
Because you see how far it bounced off the 50%. It's way down here if you would have stayed in the trade.
Right.
I mean, That's a lot of money. But that's 5, 10, 15, 20 minutes later. Most of us aren't going to sit in the trade for 20 minutes. But as you get more and more acclimated to trading, you will sit in trades a lot longer. And if this was micros, I would sit in that trade a lot longer. But as I said, 50% of a gap is also a strong area. There's a little more advanced trading strategies. Normally, I would just say, as a beginner, I would just say you take the initial bounce, boom, be done with it, and then wait for it to go above this area to take another trade. But a more advanced is I will put that 50%. I will take a short at the bottom. I'll see what it does at the 50%. I will take another short until it closes above this 50%. I'll probably take another trade at the 50%, which happened right here. Or you could have took it again right here. You would have had to front run it a little bit, but I would feel comfortable taking it more than once because it hasn't closed above that 50% yet. Right here, it closed above the bottom right here. It closed above it. So I would no longer trust that level anymore.
Okay.
But I would trust this 50% because it has not closed above the 50% yet.
I want to ask something. When you set your fib, you go up to a higher time frame and set your fib, and then move down to a lower time frame to see.
Only because I don't want to see those numbers all in my way.
Gotcha.
I will go to a higher time frame. I will mark it on here and just mark the 50% on here because I can see this line on all my charts.
Gotcha.
But you can mark it if you want to actually see the levels. You can mark it on this chart as well if you want. If you want to. I just don't like seeing a bunch of numbers. I already got enough lines in my way. But some people, they'll take a trade at the 50%. They'll take a trade at the 71 or something percent line. They'll take a trade at almost every level of here. I don't do that. I only take a trade at the bottom, the top, or the 50%. But that's how you use Fibonacci. You use it to either the overnight high and overnight low, and you find the median between those two, especially when there's a large gap. If it's a real large gap, you don't want to have to wait for it to go all the way to the top of that gap to take another trade. So you can be like, I'm gonna mark the 50%. That way I can take a trade at the bottom and the 50%. Same thing if the market was above the gap, I would take it at the initial bounce and buy the market, and then I would take another buy at the 50% to go back through it again. So it works both ways.
So you created this gap because of the trifecta of the three bullish candles?
From this right here, yeah. So you have A, B, and C, and you see A and C, the wick do not intersect. So wherever the wick don't touch at, that's the gap in between the two.
Oh, okay, I got you.
Yep. So A, B, and C. And now another thing with these gaps, after you see these three the gap is created, it's still not 100% until 3 candles later.
Yeah, okay.
So you see where that was created, and then you see 1, 2, 3. All right, now I will mark it. Because a lot of times, if the gap is created, but this very next candle will shoot straight through it, and you were trying to take a trade off the bounce and got your head knocked off. So I like to wait for 3 candles to be done. So this is a 1 hour candle, 1 hour chart. So you got to wait 3 hours. And then the 4th hour, all right, let's see what happens later.
And so you set your gaps primarily on the 1 hour chart, or is there
1 hour or the
time?
4 hour?
1 hour or 4 hours.
Yep, I have a 4 hour gap like this one right here. I wouldn't mark this gap here yet because there's only 2 candles. There's only 2 candles. So I wouldn't mark this 4 hour gap just yet. I need another candle to close. So I won't worry about this one until the next day. Because we're talking, this got to close. This has 3 hours left on it. You got a whole nother 4 hour candle you got to wait for close before this is even valid. But this one right here, you got 1, 2, 3. You're on the 3rd candle now. So that's why this one isn't marked yet, because this 3rd candle hasn't closed. We still got 3 hours on it. Once this candlestick close, that'll be 1, 2, 3 done. I would then mark this gap right here.
But you're taking the trade on what time frame? 5 minutes?
I will mark it and then I won't take a trade until my 5 minute chart goes to it. But that's why in the morning I will mark everything I need to mark on the daily 4 hour, 1 hour. I'll mark everything and I'll color code it. Yellow is a 1 hour, brown is a 4 hour, and white is a daily. That way, when I'm on a 5 minute, I don't have to keep swapping between all these different charts to see what was going on because I have it color coded and marked.
Okay.
So only in the morning do I go from chart to chart. Once I lock in all my levels, I'm only on the 5 minute.
When I logged on, it was saying something about being recorded. So can I go back and watch this again?
Yes, I'm gonna put this in the I'll put it in the Discord.
Okay.
It won't be in the class, it'll be in the Discord.
Okay.
Yeah, so I want to see what happens when it gets back to this area. You probably would have made some more money on that one. I just don't trust it because it already closed in it. But yeah, as you see, you could have got another 50 to 100.
Oh, Mr. H, when you, as you're looking at this, when you actually enter the trade, you're entering it inside of the zone of the level.
Do I enter wise in here?
Yeah.
I would at the 50%. I wouldn't place another trade unless it was here, or I wait for it to close above it.
Okay.
But yeah, you can take a trade within here. It's just you see like right here how it created that swing high, those little blue dots. Like you can possibly take a trade if you trust the swing high. You can sell well, not 8.
The swing high, is that depending on the sell or the sell or buy?
Well, the indicator marked that for you. So the indicator just marked a swing high because that wick right there is called a swing high. You see, it's the only one that's near it, and that was the highest point that it hit and before it went down. So the indicator automatically marks that as a swing high. And even though it's on the 5 minute chart, I would take it with a grain of salt. You know what I mean? I wouldn't 100% depend on it, but once again, it's still an area that you could possibly look at a trade. But when it comes to swing high and swing lows, I more so trust the 1 hour or the 4 hour. See how the 4 hour is a level right here? You know, it made swing high and swing lows as well. I would trust these more than I would trust a 5 minute swing high or swing low.
And that's vice versa with the sell.
Yeah. So like on a 5 minute, even with a gap, I wouldn't trust a 5 minute gap. You know, 5 minute gaps is just way too much going on. I don't trust a 5 minute gap. Like this gap right here, just a 5 minute gap. I wouldn't trust that one. Because 5 minutes is just too small of a time frame to really trust the levels.
So it's level this thing.
Yeah, literally. Yeah, a 4 hour is stronger than a 1 hour. The daily is stronger than a 4 hour. So like the way you use that is if you see a 1 hour level and a 4 hour level is just a little bit above it, I will put a sell in between both. Like if I want to sell the market, if I see a 1 hour and a 4 hour, I will put a sell in the middle of both of them. I'll split the difference. And look, as you see in this candle, yeah, you could have made some money off of it, but look how far the candle is going up now. Like because it closed in there, I wouldn't have trusted this one to take a trade. We'll speed it up and see what happens.
On your 5 minute time frame, what levels do you like to trade off of? Or do you?
You say on a 5 minute, what I like to trade off of?
Yeah, what levels, or are you like more or less setting up triple threat situation and trading off of that on the 5 minute.
Oh yeah, well, no, on the 5 minute, I take trades that I marked off on the 1 hour and the 4 hour. So, and look right here, see how I closed above it? I would feel comfortable buying the market. I still had it on 8 contracts. God dog. Well, I would have got 50 already. But I forgot to change it from 8 contracts. But I would feel comfortable taking that trade because you see this one closed above that area. Now look at it. With 8 contracts, $1,200. But you would have made your 50 already. You would have made your $50 because once it closed above it, support turns into resistance, resistance turns into support. And now I'm not looking for a short, I'm looking for a long. And look how much further it went up. So once it closed above it, it retraced. I took the trade right here and took it up. So we made plenty money on the bouncing, but once it closed above it, it was time to go long. And once again, I took these trades based off of what I marked on my 1 hour and what I marked on my 4 hour. And as you see, there's no 4 hour level to you way up here. Look, it's still going up.
Like the third time it bounced off.
Yeah, yeah. And I'm saying like, and that's another thing. Like if you don't want to get into the trade the first time it touches, just see how many times it tapped it. And then like, all right, I feel comfortable taking this trade because it didn't just go straight through it. But I'll take a trade on the first touch. It's like, come pick me up at the bus stop right there at the line. Pick me up, let's go up. Because I've tested it out. I've done it enough to where I know a lot of times that first touch is all I need. Let's get my money. And then it's times where I got out the trade and I'll take it again because it didn't close in it yet. So if you have more than one account, I would have took the first sale and then I would have went to another account and I would have waited for it to come back down and took another one because it didn't close yet. But yeah, that's an hour, guys. I gotta head out because I gotta take my son to get his hair cut. But I will put this one and the one from last week will be in the Slack today. I mean, in the Discord today.
Okay.
Yeah, you guys got any questions?
I'll holler at you maybe tomorrow.
All right. And heavy hitters, I'll shoot you a message as soon as I get back from the barber.
No problem. You got it.
All right. All right, guys. And if you have any other questions after this, just shoot me a message in the Discord and I'll get to you.
All right. You have a blessed day.
All right. For sure. Y'all enjoy your day.
Have a good one.
Yep.